أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، والصلاة والسلام على خير خلقه محمد وعلى آله الطيبين الطاهرين. Brothers and sisters, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. قال إمامنا الباقر صلوات الله وسلامه عليه: عالم ينتفع بعلمه أفضل من 70,000 عابد. This hadith from Imam Muhammad al-Baqir alayhi salam indicates the significance of scholars, significance of knowledge, significance of those who have deep understanding about life, about faith, about the purpose of creation, and those who ponder. And literally, the Imam says that an alim, a scholar, the one who is expert in his field, people benefit from his knowledge, is more valuable, greater than 70,000 worshippers. So, we want to discuss the quality and quantity. Which one is more important? Yes, for people who don't have proper knowledge, or they are not wise, they are really in love of the quantity. The more money, the more time, the more position, and the more friends and people, this is so important to them. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the Holy Quran tells us about majority not necessarily being right, and they are not to be followed just because of greater number. And the minority in the Quran is admired if they are on the right path. So don't think that, as the democracy says, or the democratic system says, that when you have 51% of the votes over 49%, so everything must be submitted and approved for the majority, even is that little gap between 51% and 49%. Don't think that the wisdom and the right is with the majority. In the Quran, the majority of people are ignorant, the majority of people are hypocrites, the majority of people do not ponder, and there is no value for their opinion. Why? We are going to discuss that today. So first, we see that quality is much more important than quantity. When one single alim, single scholar, single person who is well acquainted with the subject, expert on that field, that people benefit from their knowledge, according to this hadith of Imam Muhammad al-Baqir alayhi salam, which is recorded by Al-Kulayni in Usul al-Kafi, that is greater than 70,000 people who are only worshippers without having proper knowledge. Here we see that the quality is much more important than quantity. Similarly, we see that in the Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us that one night is more important and more valuable than 1,000 months. And if we consider a month of 30 nights, so one night on one hand and 30,000 nights on the other hand. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that, look, don't focus on the number. Don't focus on the quantity. No, look at the quality. One night, Laylatul Qadri, khayrun min alfi shahr. Why? Because the opportunities for a person to achieve advanced level of spirituality during one night, and that is the night of Qadr, and according to many narrations, it exists and falls in the last 10 nights of the holy month of Ramadan. So, brothers and sisters, again, we see that not only majority is condemned and minority is approved of, no, even one night is greater than 30,000 nights. Because of what? Because of the quality of that night. And if the other nights are missing that opportunity, of course, this one is better than those. Again, we read in the Quran, Surah number 8, Ayah 65, that if you have 20 warriors who are steadfast, they can take over 200 from those who attack them. So, the quality of being steadfast, the quality of having firm decision and strong in their will, those who rely on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and go for it, if they are 20, they are going to gain victory over their opponents, even they are 200, 10 times. So again, we see here the quality is more important than quantity. Another hadith which sheds a light on our behavior, and we should learn a lesson from it, brothers and sisters, in our lives, is the hadith which says that تفكر ساعة خير من عبادة سنة. To ponder and reflect for an hour is greater in value than worshipping for the whole year. So we have 1 hour out of 24 hours a day, and go to 365 days multiplied by 24 hours. Put these in one hand. 365 multiplied by 24, put it in one hand, and go for 1 hour. But the quality of that 1 hour is to ponder, to reflect, to be fully aware of what you are doing in comparison to the whole year, where a person and when a person is heedless and doesn't have that quality of reflection and pondering. Indeed, there are some quotes that instead of a year, we see 60 or 70 years. And some scholars or some commentators say, what is it? Is it an hour of pondering better than a year, or 60 years? Which one? And that causes some sort of confusion. But it can be solved easily. You know that the level of pondering, how strong and how deep and how authentic is, of course, it varies according to whatever said. But let's say, stick to one hadith, and that is to say, تفكر ساعة, to ponder and reflect, only for an hour is better than worshipping Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala or spending your time in only act of worship for a year. Yeah? So why is that? عالم ينتفع بعلمه أفضل من 70,000 عابد. So one scholar is greater in value than 70,000. Or an hour of thinking and pondering is better than whole year, or in some narrations and reports 60 or 70 years. The Imam immediately refers to one thing and said that إنما يتذكر أولو الألباب. أولو الألباب is in reference, this ayah is in reference to those who use their brain. So here is again quality in preference to quantity. Let us assume and quote some other examples. And by that, for example, if you have one healthy food and you are given the option to choose this one healthy food or meal with 10 junk meals or food, of course, one healthy food which guarantees feeding yourself and enabling your body to get the maximum of benefit from that food, remaining healthy, is much better than what? Having 10 times in comparison to that of junk food. So none of them will be of use if they are junk, unhealthy, but one. The same applies to friends. You have one friend who is sincere, who is wise, who is really helpful and caring. But there are 20 other friends who are heedless. One friend who is wise and caring is much better than 20 who are heedless and do not have that understanding which we needed. Imam Amir al-Mu'minin alayhi salam, the commander faithful, again says that when you are walking on the right path, don't worry if those who are sharing with you the same path are few. Don't bother about the number, the quantity. No, if they are really going on the right path, sticking to the religious guidance and to what is the whole purpose of creation. And again, we are using our minds, our brains, our wisdom, and this is the reality of what? Pondering, thinking, and reflecting. All these, brothers and sisters, indicate the significance of quality over the quantity. And one last word. In one occasion, when Imam Ali alayhi salam noticed that many of his followers are not listening to him, not obeying him, not listening to his advice, whilst although he is on the right path, who is the commander of faithful, who is giving the right direction and the useful advice. Okay? Who is with truth. So people are not cooperating with him, not listening to him. This happened in the history. Yes? Whilst the followers of Muawiyah, although knowing that he is on the wrong side, he is not following the truth, not complying with Quran and with the Islamic teachings at all, but they are obedient to him, submitting to everything he says. So the Imam, to condemn them, to condemn his followers, said that I wish that Muawiyah make an exchange. I give him 10 of you and take one of his followers. Again, in an indication to quality is more important than quantity. So this is what we know. And we conclude, but let's answer one question. And that is, okay, how to ponder, how to reflect, how to think. So why all these are for the quality, and that quality is for the thoughts and to ponder and to reflect. Again, we read in the teachings of the error-free Imams, alayhim salam, that look at the fate of those who were arrogant, who were only thinking about the worldly affairs, and those who concentrated only on whatever belonged to this life, which is temporary, and how they departed, left everything behind. So know that you prepare the stuff for hereafter, and life after death. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.